Alright guys, so y'all had some questions, I got answers. We're going to be doing this AMA type of video. So I'm basically just going to be answering all the questions you guys asked me. I picked as many as I could. However long this video is, it's just going to be me talking to you guys for 10, 20, 30 minutes, however long this video will be. We'll also be doing the 25,000 subscriber giveaway, so stay tuned for that. I appreciate every one of y'all's support, and let's get into the video. So off the bat, we're going to answer probably the most asked question I get, which is which website / app do I use to look up my prices and stuff during the shows? The answer to that is eBay, 130 points, and price charting. I mainly use eBay just because the other websites use eBay for the results. So it really depends on the item. If it's something that sells very often, then eBay's usually just good enough for me. Next question. How did you get started and how long have you been in the Pokemon trading and selling? I didn't get into Pokemon until junior year of college, so 2 years ago or 3 years ago when Chilling Reign came out. That summer, I was walking by a local card store, went inside, me and my brother, we like looking up what the hit is of the set. So Chilling Reign, of course, was the Blaziken. I like Blaziken a lot, so I was like, this is a super cool artwork. I didn't even know they started making cards like this because, you know, I've never seen alt arts before. Bought a few booster boxes. Of course, we didn't get anything, but that's when I started. And ever since then, it's grown into what it is today. Are you guys full-time selling TCG? And if so, what did you do before then? Thanks. So a lot of you guys don't know, but I'm 23. I graduated 2 years ago. And again, I started doing Pokemon in junior year, so I've been doing it for a while online. After I graduated, I did real estate while also doing Pokemon on the side. This year, 2024, I'll be doing it full time, even though technically I kind of started doing it full time maybe about 6 months ago. But for sure, I'm going all in now. That's why you guys will see me at all these different shows, because I'm just doing it full time. Whereas last time I went to maybe 6 shows or so. This year should be very exciting. Hopefully you guys enjoy the ride as well. And yeah, my question would be, how do you get into business to become a vendor like you? Starting capital, question mark. So the answer to that would be, anyone can technically do what I do. Again, there's no real limitations. Starting capital is very important though, because if you have $100, it's not realistic to do what I do. I would say if you are wanting to do local shows, it's a lot lower of a barrier of entry because you don't have to pay for hotel, flight, all that good stuff. There's no better way for you to learn than trying it yourself. So if it's a local show, it might be a couple $100. That's at most what you have to lose if it doesn't go well. But it's well worth the experience if it is something you're interested in. So I go and try to do it for yourself. If you can fill out the table, even if it's nothing with cheap stuff, as long as you get your money back, I'd count that as a win for your first time. Next question. Do you buy sealed items at conventions? I try not to, unless it's a local show. So if it's one in Texas, I'm from Texas, then I might consider it because I drive, so I could bring it back. But if it's a show I'm flying to, there's limited space in my luggage, so I don't want to bring back a bunch of booster boxes or anything like that. So I try not to buy sealed items if it's out of state. Again, just because it takes up too much space. Do you primarily deal with slabs? And if so, do they move easier versus raw copies? So on that same vein as the last question, I do mainly do with slabs now just because it takes up less space. You can fill out the displays a lot easier with slabs. And it's kind of more of a consolidated value, if that makes sense. So I can bring a lot more. I personally don't like ungraded cards just because when I sell online, a lot of people ask for pictures. I personally hate taking pictures, and after years and many hours of doing it, it just gets annoying. But now lots of people are trying to crack slabs and resending it, so it kind of defeats the whole purpose because they're also asking for pictures. But it is what it is. So yes, I do mainly deal with slabs because for me, easier to sell, easier to take around. Yeah, it's just easier all around. So next question. Is this your main source of income or do you also work a day job? If it is your main source, how long did it take you to get to that point? So kind of the same line of, is this, full-time? So again, I do this full-time. It is my main source of income now. How long it took? I mean, I kind of just do it. It's not like I was trying to replace a previous job's income. I really don't have anything to base it off of. And since this is my full first year of doing it, I'll be using this as like my evaluation year. So I'll see how I do at the end and just go from there. Next question. How did you get into the vendor side of things? One day you just realized you had a lot of stuff that you could sell, or did you eventually decide to buy some stuff in bulk and take the leap? So before I did vendors at card shows, I've actually been buying and selling Pokemon cards online mainly for a while now. So again, I started 2021, and I didn't start my first card show until last year, January 2023. So I've been doing it for a solid year and a half online. So that's why I learned lots of the pricing and how I built up my collection until I got to do in-person shows. So again, it's not something I jumped into head first. It's something that I've been doing, and I figured since I know a little bit about what I'm doing now, I can translate it into the vendor side. Ever since I went to my first one, super fun, loved it, and I've been doing it ever since. Why do you do this so little? I need more of these videos. Also, live stream maybe, I'd be down. Second question, when did you fall in love with Pokemon, and what's your favorite Pokemon outside Bulbasaur, LOL? So why do I do this so little? Actually, this year I'll be doing a show at least once a month, if not twice. You guys should have a video at least once a week. I'm shooting for, I think. So hopefully that's good enough for you. But it is very expensive to go to these shows, and it takes a lot of time to do the editing. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes into these videos, so it's not very easy to like pump it out. I can't do like daily uploads of these shows because I don't go to these shows every day. Hopefully I can do more shows the bigger the channel grows, and that means more videos for you guys. Live streaming. People reached out to me about live streaming. For me, right now, it's not something I want to do just because I have my hands tied and full with the regular stuff that I'm doing. Don't really want to add on more. Maybe in the future, but if I do, it'll probably be something I do on my own. So maybe it's on YouTube or Instagram, something like that. And it'll be like small one-off events. Not something that I do mainly. I prefer doing shows or just strictly online. And then the second question, when did I fall in love with Pokemon? So I grew up playing Leaf Green a lot, and I also grew up playing Sapphire. So those are the two games that I played the most and that I'm most nostalgic for. So I tend to collect Pokemon from those games, that era, and the ones I played with the most. Obviously my starter was Bulbasaur. As far as what my favorite Pokemon outside of Bulbasaur is, I can't say I really have like a go-to favorite Pokemon itself. I have lots of ones that I like, but nothing die hard. My favorite legendary is Kyogre, again for obvious reasons, played Sapphire. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. So next question, what are the best things to bring to trade at card shows, raw, slab, sealed, etc.? I would say it kind of depends on the vendor really. All of those would do good for different types of vendors. In general, in my opinion, I would say slabs. I'm a little biased. I prefer slabs. Or if you're going to do raw cards, again, the higher end alt arts, like the new hits. What was the starting value of cards when you first went to an event, as in overall card value at your booth, and what's your usual cost to set up a booth at an event? Good question. So my very first selling event was TCGCon. I had a little artist table all the way in the back. And I believe at that time I had about $10,000 or so. I'll probably put up a picture. I think I have a picture of when I went there. So I'll put up a picture here and we can kind of guess what I had back then. I don't really know. It was a decent amount, I would say, because I remember having some higher end over $1,000 cards. So I want to say maybe $5,000 to $10,000. To set the cost to set up at an event greatly varies. It depends on if you're flying in or if you're just, driving. It's local to you. So if it's local to you, I would say tables range anywhere from the cheapest I've seen is like $150 all the way up to like $300-400 per table. It depends on how big the event is, of course, but that's typically what you can expect. Next question is, would I consider opening up a trading card game shop? The answer to that is I have considered it before, but after a while I realized I've never liked like the newest sets, the newest collections, sealed booster boxes and all that stuff. It's a different business model of doing like an LGS versus kind of what I'm doing, but there's a lot more back end stuff. You have to have a brick and mortar store that costs a lot of money to rent. And I'm sure there's, I'm not too knowledgeable in it, but I'm sure there's tons of other stuff that goes behind the scenes. I do respect people that do it. I'm sure it's a lot of work, just not for me. And I love what I do currently. And so yeah, I want to start a collection with slabs. What is the best way to get started? Is it best to get your own cards graded or start buying your own graded cards? So I would say first find something that you really enjoy, buy a graded version of it, and then you can slowly learn how to grade on your own and then go from there. If you start doing grading on your own, you'll probably end up with a bunch of 6, 7s or whatever because you don't know what you're looking for. So you should really just do both, but at a slow pace so you can learn over time. I have 2 questions. What type of display case you use and how much cash do you tend to bring to buy? Not sure if this is personal. No, those are both good questions. So for local shows in Texas, I use these, basically they're bulletin boards. So they're super flat and they hold up the slabs and they're lockable. So everything that I need that I can just throw in the car and bring. There's a link to all the equipment I use down in the description below. Affiliate links really does help me out. So if you are interested in getting some, just use that. And I have the 48 by 36. So those are good for if you're getting 2 tables. If you're just getting 1 table, then I would recommend just getting a bunch of the 36 by 24s, and you can just put that however you want, whether it's horizontal, landscape, up to you. Oh, and then how much cash do I tend to bring? I actually don't bring that much relatively, so I'll just bring whatever I have from the last show. I don't really want to buy a lot and then not sell. So what I typically do is I use the money from stuff that I sold at the show to buy more stuff. That way I'm recycling inventory as opposed to just spending a bunch of money without selling it. So it kind of prevents me from doing that. Because if I came with tons of money and I could buy a bunch, but if at the end of the show I have more slabs than I came with, it'll be weird bringing them all in the same suitcase or Pelican case, whatever. So I try to recycle money that I've sold to buy more at the show, if that makes sense. Hopefully that answered your question. Nice video, thank you. I like how you do the 80% trade rule to always be increasing the value of your inventory. Very true. However, what do you do if there are a bunch of cards in your inventory that get traded that are more like junk slabs and people don't want to buy them? Do you just move them to an auction and take losses? That's a great question. I understand where you're coming from. So to prevent that, I don't take everything and anything at 80%. If I did, I'd definitely be losing a lot of money. I'm very selective in what I take. Really, if I want to do a trade, it has to be something that I think I can sell. Of course, that I think I will do better on, come out on top. That's the whole point of the business, is I have to be making money. So if someone comes to me with a bunch of PSA 4 first edition common cards, I'm not going to be taking in because I know I can't sell them. I typically don't try to even take them in the first place so that I'm not in that situation. Hopefully that helps, but good question. How does your personal collection inventory differ from your shop inventory? Like, how do you decipher what you can afford to put in your PC rather than must/should sell? Not really sure how to word it, my bad, LL, no problem. So that makes sense to me. I would say that my collection is my inventory because I really enjoy all the cards, or almost all the cards in my inventory. That way I don't feel pressured to sell or crack under pressure, whatever it is. I don't mind holding on to these cards for 1-2 years, even if they don't sell at one show or another show. It's fine for me. I know what I paid for them. And if they don't sell, that's okay. I'm not stuck. That's why I always recommend you only buy cards that you would enjoy keeping, even if the price went to 0. That way you at least have something you enjoy. And again, if it's something you don't enjoy, you'll be more likely to sell at a loss or not get as much profit as you could have, simply because you're worried or you don't enjoy it as much. I just leave all the ones I don't want to sell at home, and all the stuff I do want to sell, bring it with me. Do you have an online store, or only at the card show can I buy from you? Another good question, of a question I get asked often. I don't have an online card store that people can buy the inventory at, simply because there's chargebacks, credit card fraud, all that stuff. So typically, if you do want to buy something from me online, your best bet is to follow me on Instagram. I do stories on there, story sales, where I'll post everything I have. The prices will be there, shipping, all that stuff. The only caveat is I only accept Zelle for payments on there, again, to avoid any chargebacks or whatever. If I sell online, that means I'm not selling it at the show, not getting more content for you guys, so it's not as fun. So I prefer selling at shows just because there's a little bit more inherent value, and I can be a little bit more lenient on the margins, I guess, if you will. What's your advice to someone looking to start collecting? Similar to one of the previous answers. So my advice, again, for if you're new to collecting, would be find a Pokemon or set that you enjoy a lot and start with that. Start small, something that you can afford. It takes a while for you to figure out what you want. So I started off with raw cards, then I really like sealed stuff. Now I'm on to slabs, and there's a whole journey, and you'll change probably throughout the years. Just start with something that you like. And if it changes, then you can pivot later. Question, what is your favorite English Pokemon set, and what is the most challenging part of the job? My favorite set, if I had the choice to be given one set that was all in near mint condition, but I couldn't sell it, it'd be a toss-up between Skyridge and Crystal Guardians. And then what is the most challenging part of the job? The hardest part for sure is definitely finding high quality slabs, raw cards to sell for you guys. So again, appreciate every single one of you who comes up and sells me your nice cards at under market. That way I can sell them close to market and hopefully save you some time. But thank you again for your support. Really appreciate it. Have you ever come across getting fake slabs cards? What are some things to look out for when it comes to fake slabs cards? Fake slabs slash cards. So yes, I've seen fake cards. I haven't seen any fake slabs yet. And I've also seen fake packs, like sealed, resealed packs. And I would say it just takes time and experience. You have to know what fakes look like in order to be able to discern them from each other. So, you know, once upon a time, I was that person on eBay buying deals too good to be true, getting them in the mail. And then, you know, I had an intuition like this card doesn't look too right, did some more research, and I found like I had copies of the real card, luckily. And I compared it. I was like, these are completely different. You should listen to your gut. And when you're buying stuff online, if it's too good to be true, it usually is. Again, because there are many, many fakes out there. Lots of people trying to make money scandalously, fraudulently, whatever you want to call it. I get asked this next question a lot. So how much in profit or sales do you normally make at these card shows? Would love to know at the end of each video. So it's hard to tell how much I make at each show just because I buy a lot and I sell a lot, all from different shows. So I do keep a giant spreadsheet of everything that I've done so far, but it's really more cumulative. So I can tell, it's easier to tell how much I made from the year than it is show to show, just because it would take a lot more time and work to do it for each show individually and then show it at the end. How do I find the value of cards with a low population and only one-ish sales from a long time ago? The value of anything is worth whatever someone's willing to pay for it. Then I would say you really just have to use your best judgment on what you think you could sell it for and if you can make money on it. So if you can buy it for less than what you think and you're willing to take that risk, then go for it. Most of the time for me though, if it's not something I can find or think I can sell very easily, I will probably pass just because it's not for me. I don't really want to be holding on to something that is going to take a long time to sell unless it's something that I personally enjoy again. There is no way to find a comp if the comp doesn't exist. And again, the value is whatever someone's willing to pay for it. You really make up the price and you have to find someone that's willing to pay that price. That's pretty much it. What era of Pokemon cards do you like buying and selling the most? I'm a sucker for EX era. So for me personally, I deal with modern. I like Sword and Shield. I'm not a fan of Scarlet and Violet because it's so new. The volatility is very high right now. So I stick with Sword and Shield as my modern, whether it's the alt arts or slabs, PSA 10 slabs with those. If it's not alt arts or whatever, I like to deal with gold stars, shinings, crystals, those kind of higher end older cards. And then I know old WotC is very popular as well, so I'll pick those up just because I know they do well. I'm not personally a fan of WotC for myself just because I never grew up with them, but again, I know they do very well, so I'll pick those up whenever I can. EX era is very nice though. Again, I'm a fan of the EX era, but I typically don't have too much other than a few EXs every now and then. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. For the AMA, could you show us the process on how to submit cards to get graded, please and thank you? I could, if you guys really want me to. Let me know if you would want me to do a walkthrough on getting your cards graded. However, there are so many videos out there on how to do it. I personally watched a lot when I did my first ones, so I'd recommend just watching someone else. But if it's something you guys really, really want me to do, I don't mind doing it. So just let me know if that's something you guys want to see. What do you collect in your own personal collection? So I actually have a whole video on that right over here. You can go watch it, but if you can't tell, my personal favorite is Bulbasaur. So I'm trying to collect all the Bulbasaurs in a PSA 10 if it exists. But if you want to see my entire collection from a couple months ago, I have that video up there for y'all to watch. Since you're a seller, since I'm a seller, when buying cards, do you think I should just grade one myself instead of buying a 10? I would say if you want a 10, just go ahead and buy it. You're going to save yourself money, time, and headache if you don't know what you're doing, and it's worth it if you want the 10 to just buy it outright. How do you keep track of profit and loss when you're selling and trading at shows like this? Do you track everything on an Excel sheet and write the transactions on the spot, or everything after the show? So yeah, I have a giant spreadsheet that I do. I keep track of all the online and during the show. Sometimes I'll do it during the show, but more recently I record the entire show, and then when I edit the videos, I have to see it again anyways. So as I go and edit the videos, I'll go through and put those transactions I did in my spreadsheet. So since I record everything, it makes it all easier, and I can go back and double check, you know, what I paid for or sold something for if I ever forget. Do I do consignment? So the answer to that is yes, I've done consignment before in the past. Now, since I have such a large inventory, I typically only do consignment for larger items, so probably over like $1,000, $2,000. That way I don't have a bunch of $50 cards that I'm selling at 10%. 10% is actually my commission, so it's really up to you. I mean, you could sell it on eBay yourself and get pretty much close to that, but if that's something any one of y'all want to do and you have a card that's worth over that $1,000 mark, send it on over to me. You can message me on Instagram and I'll see if it's something we can work out. What camera do you use for these videos? So I have a link to all the equipment I use in the YouTube descriptions, like down below. So the camera I use is the Insta360 X3, I believe. I have the mic down there as well as the DJI mic. There's a few adapters and stuff you'll need. So if you're interested, use the affiliate link below. It really does help me out. All right, so do you typically sell loose singles as well, like in a binder, etc., that aren't graded? I vaguely remember seeing in other videos. I do sell raw cards in binders sometimes. If I'm at a show that I'm traveling where I have nothing but display cases, the binder does take up a lot of space, so I usually will just have slabs. And then if there is space, I'll throw in some of the higher end alt arts in the case as well. But if they're at a local show where I have a lot more tables, I will have binders with raw cards for people to look at. Do you make money? It seems like deals are at such a small margin that would be tough. That is a great question. So a lot of people I read, they will see that I buy stuff typically from 70 to 75%, and I sell items on average, let's say at 95 to maybe even 100% market. So my margin is a healthy, on average, 20%, which to most people is outrageous, and on face value, that is a great margin. A lot of people focus on the actual margin when there's a lot more factors at play. There's volatility, liquidity, the actual dollar amount actually is a lot. Now that plays a big factor as well. So for example, let's go through. So for me personally, I fly to all these shows. It will cost me on average $2,000 per show out of state because I have to pay for a hotel, the table cost, and the flight. That usually adds up to around $1,500. And then if I rent display cases, that's another $150 to $300, plus Ubers from the airport and back. Food while I'm there. So you're looking at $2,000 plus per show out of state. So let's say it's $2,000 per show that I'm negative off the bat just being there. And let's go back to my margin. So I have to sell $10,000 at a 20% margin to break even at a show. And $10,000 is a lot of money to sell at a show. So before I did the YouTube and selling the shirts and all that, I actually would not make money. I would do these shows for fun because I enjoyed it. And if I broke even, I considered it like a free vacation, a free win, all that stuff. But the answer is now I do make money because of you guys. So with the shirts really do help me out a lot. So every time you guys come and pick up some shirts, it really does support me a ton, helps me go to more shows. And then also the sponsors. So any sponsors I have, super appreciative of them. They help me go to more shows as well. So please bear in mind, if you ever see a sponsor of mine, it won't be anything. It'll be something that I actually do enjoy or think you guys would like and support. So, I won't be just doing any random sponsor, but yeah, hopefully you guys, bear with the sponsors and bear with all that because it really does help me out and I appreciate you all with sticking with me. But yeah, the answer to that is now that I do the YouTube and I have sponsors and you guys are amazing with the shirts, I do make money. My question, did you design the shirts that you sell yourself? So the answer to that is no, I did not design these shirts. The artist is actually pinned on my Instagram. And every time you guys buy a shirt, a small percentage actually goes towards her. So you'll be supporting her and me whenever you buy a shirt. So appreciate it. When you trade for raw cards, are you only accepting ones that are high value / what you think are future PSA 10s? Yes and no. So I do only accept raw cards that are high value. So I prefer ones that are like over $100. Typically just alt arts, or if it's anything old, gold stars, crystals, stuff that I think a lot of people generally like. But it doesn't have to be a PSA 10 contender. If it's off center, if there's like a little whatever on it, I'll still take it at 80%. If it is a PSA 10 contender, I'll of course take that as well, but it's not a requirement. I'm more interested on if I think I can sell it easy raw, and if I do, then I probably will take it. How far do you travel for shows? So again, I will travel all across the country. This year it's a super packed schedule, so I'll be going from California, West Coast, East Coast to the middle of nowhere. Do you ever get irritated or mad trying to do deals, or have you done this for a long that nothing really gets you emotional when making deals? So I actually don't really take anything too seriously. So even if someone's rude or mean, I've never really had any super negative experiences, if I'm honest. And even if I did, I don't really treat it that, I don't pay it no mind. So I wouldn't say that I've been doing this for long, but it's kind of just, it comes with the territory. It is what it is. I don't let small stuff like that, kind of affect my mood or whatever. For AMA, what calculator do you use? I use the TI-84 Plus, I think. It's the same one I used during college. I figured, I need a calculator for the shows. I just bring it with me since I already have it. If you had to start over today, how would you go about it? Stick to slabs or buying packs? If so, what packs would you go after? I'm trying to start diversifying my collection and would like some insight on how you'd go about getting to where you are now if you had to start over fresh. So if I were to start over knowing what I know now, I would still do what I know now. So I would stick with slabs just because, again, it's a lot easier to transport, pricing, all that stuff. As far as packs go, I'm not actually a big pack opener. I used to do every now and then I'll buy like some packs from Target if I'm there, or a booster box when I first started out. But you have to know that when you open packs, you are inherently losing money. What you're paying for is the experience or chance of getting a hit, which has its own inherent value. However, as a business goes, that's a terrible decision. So monetarily, you should never be opening packs. Opening packs is more for the enjoyment of doing so, trying to get that chase, trying to get that dopamine hit of, oh, I got the hit card of this set. But other than that, if you're trying to maximize money, you should never ever open packs. Even if your best friend opened 5 packs and got 5 hits and made hundreds of dollars, on the long run, you're going to be losing money. So only open packs if you want to enjoy it, if you're doing it for fun, but you should never open packs expecting to make money off of it. If you do, I don't know what to tell you. You probably should not be starting a business if that's your business plan. So another question is your favorite card. My favorite card, if we're talking Bulbasaur card, would be the Firebed Leaf Green Reverse Hollow. I'll post it right here so you guys can see it. I just really like how the card looks from my favorite game, I guess. My favorite non-Bulbasaur card would be the Umbreon from Skyridge Hollow. That card, for whatever reason, speaks to me. I think it looks super dope. Again, love the e-readers, love Skyridge, and the Umbreon, super cool. So that's my favorite non-Bulbasaur card. How do you get started doing this? Is grading usually worth it for profits, or is raw better? So I would say grading is a great way to make profit if you know what you're doing. So, you can turn, you've probably seen videos turning $50 into $300. And that's very true if you know what to look for and what you're doing, because on the flip side, you could be losing lots of money. So it takes time to learn how to grade, what to look for, and all that stuff. Once you get good at it, then I can say, yes, it can make money. But I would say also, at this day and age, grading is so prevalent, there are tons of people also trying to do exactly what you are. So it's very competitive, and a lot of the cards are picked through. Not saying you still can't find a raw card that'll get a 10, but it's a lot less likely nowadays, especially when you're buying online. It's hard to see the minor imperfections that would make it go from a 10 to a 9. So you really have to be careful. That way, you're not wasting your money and time grading. But the short answer is yes, if you know what you're doing, you can make a lot of money grading cards. What do I do with bulk cards? So again, I don't open much product, so I don't really have that much bulk to deal with. But whenever I do open, a pack at Target, whatever, I will keep it. But just like everyone else, I'll throw it in a box and convince myself that I'll do something with it in the future. But in reality, it will probably just sit there for many years and just take up space. What is your dream card to get? So my dream card would, of course, be the Snap Bulbasaur. I think it's a cool card. However, it's a little bit too expensive to have in one card. I was bidding on the most previous auction that ended last year. I believe it sold for like $88,000. For that one, I bid $70,000 or something, $75,000 or so. But after that, you have to bid in $10,000 increments. It was way too much money, even at the $70,000. I don't know what I was thinking. So, but it ended up working out just because I was able to use that money for collections and all other kinds of stuff for you guys at the shows and more content. So worked out. But again, if I had to have any card, it'd probably be the Snap Bulbasaur. Hey dude, I'm going to be a vendor at my first card show in March. Any tips for someone just starting out? Yeah, I actually have a vendor guide, tips and tricks in the works. Been a little bit delayed because I've had some pretty cool videos in the works for you guys as well. So stay tuned for that. I will be making, it will come out eventually, a vendor tips, tricks, and all that good stuff. So yes. How can we know what conventions you will be at? This is my schedule for the year. I'll be going to all of these card shows, if not more. For example, I'll be at Front Row Card Show in Las Vegas sometime in April. I'll put the date here. But I'll go to, the schedule can change. I might add more as the year goes on, but this is my current schedule. Hey, I was just wondering if you sell other cards like One Piece or Naruto. Also love your videos. Keep it up. Well, thank you. I don't plan on selling any other cards, card games at the moment, just because I have my hands full with Pokemon. I've thought about like One Piece before, but in my mind, you know, if I spend $5,000 on One Piece cards, that could be $5,000 I use for more Pokemon cards. And again, I don't really know much about any other card game other than Pokemon, so I try to just stick within my wheelhouse. That's just me. How many of your cards do you grade yourself? High percent? I would say honestly, no. I usually buy most of my cards as is. Lots of collections that I buy. I will grade every now and then, but usually only maybe 3-4 times a year. I'll just do a bunch of big submissions. And even then, a lot of it's for my personal collection. If I ever come across a card that I think is worth grading, of course I will grade it, but it's not the primary way. Of me getting slabs. I usually just buy them already slabbed up. Love watching these trade videos. Thank you very much. Is there a specific trade you remember that you regret the most, or a trade you regret not making at the time? Trades that I regret the most. There is one. This is a story time, so I'll tell you. At my very first show that I was selling at, there was a deal for the Plasma Storm Blastoise PSA 10, and I was going to trade, and a Regice Gold Star PSA 7, I believe. And they wanted my Mythical Collection premium set, so all 11 boxes, and a bunch of Cosmic Eclipse blister packs, plus $200, and that was going to be the trade. And I was negotiating with them, and eventually, somewhere along the lines, I said, well, let's just do the Blastoise for half of what was offered. And then after we did that, I was like, well, might as well just do the rest for the Regice. So we did that trade, but I totally left out the $200 that they added on at the end. So if I just said yes at the beginning, I basically would have gotten $200. I guess it's something to learn about, but that is something I do think about very often. Yeah, I basically just lost $200 because I was negotiating too weirdly and I forgot. All right, guys, so for the 25,000 subscriber giveaway, we have a few goodies. We have 5 slabs today, plus a Bulba shirt in your size. Everything will go to one winner. As far as the prizes go, some of these were donated to me very generously from viewers that, you know, wanted to give back. So thank you to Daniel for the Espeon V PSA 10. This will be the first slab in the giveaway. Next up, we have a Charmander from Fire Red Leaf Green Hollow. And then we have the Pikachu PSA 10 Bandai card. And these were both given to us by Rob, so thank you very much. And lastly, I'll be adding in a PSA 9 Bulbasaur deck, Japanese slab, as well as a PSA 10 illustration contest. Super cool card. All you have to do is let me know down below what your favorite Pokemon game is, and we'll pick a winner next week. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up today's AMA question video. Thank you all for those who participated. Hopefully you got your questions answered and learned a little bit more about me. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and leave a like and subscribe for more content, more card shows. I appreciate that, and I hope you guys have a great day.